If you're a Spanish speaker who feels invisible at work, this video will change your career. I've worked with over 600 Spanish speaking professionals, and I've seen that it's not only about grammar and vocabulary. No, what's destroying your success are these three myths. These myths are making you sound not confident instead of confident. I'm going to show you what these three myths are and exactly what to do to overcome them. The perfect grammar myth. Many Spanish speakers think that they need to have perfect grammar to sound confident, but that's the mentality that's actually holding you back. Now, let's get one thing straight. Proper grammar will help you to transmit your ideas more clearly and to sound more professional. But here's where the mistake lies. If you let one grammar mistake ruin your thought and conversation and you start overthinking that grammar mistake and you start going blank and getting stuck, that's not normal. That's going to kill your voice identity and presence instantly. You can look at grammar like a hammer. A hammer is good for building things, but you can also use a hammer to kill someone. What do I mean? Grammar is a tool, and it can help you to transmit your ideas more clearly, to sound more professional, to be more vivid with what you want to say. But if you let it get to you that you're making one mistake, if you let it affect you, then that hammer is not being used in the right way. For example, look at Benicio del Toro, a famous actor.
I've learned to appreciate and understand perhaps things that I might have not understand,
In this video, he makes a mistake, but he just keeps speaking. Notice how he said understand instead of using the past participle understood. Here's the key insight. Confident professionals, Spanish speakers, when they make mistakes, they don't freeze. They don't allow that to make them feel stuck. They keep speaking like nothing happened. Your presence and identity is preserved through continuity, not through pausing or perfection. Remember, one grammar mistake should not interrupt your thought process, your ideas, and your clarity. Speaking speed, confident myth. There's a belief that the faster you speak, the more fluent and confident you sound. But that's not true. You see, speed has its functions. It's also a tool like the hammer. But the reason we use speed is to show that we're excited about something, that we're passionate about a subject. This is where using contractions can help you to sound more natural and more fluent. The real issue is uncontrolled speed. When you have many ideas in your head and you can't control them and they just spill out and you start to ramble. To ramble means to talk a lot and in circles without getting to the point. I've watched talented professionals lose the impact of what they want to say because they can't control their speed. The most influential people vary or change their speed depending on the subject and on their energy level. So they might talk a little bit faster when they're passionate about something or excited about a new project, for example. That's totally fine. But they might slow down when they get to certain points to let the information sit in the other person's head. And this is where fluency identity comes in. A friendly connector, if that's your identity, will speak fast at times because they want to be friendly. They want to connect with people, and that's totally fine. But a confident leader will speak slower at times if the context calls for it. Here's the key takeaway. Confident speakers use speed strategically. Fluency comes from control and contrast, not constant speed. If you're recognizing yourself in these myths right now, you're not alone. I've helped over 600 Spanish-speaking Latinos to break free from exactly this. How do we do it? There's a free tool called the Fluency Identity Tool. It's going to show you exactly what you're missing to complete that fluency personality you need. That way, the way you ask for clarification can be right. The way that you speak to others can match your personality. Click the link down below, and that way you can access your fluency identity for free. Never asking for clarification myth. Many Spanish speakers are shy, and at meetings or in casual conversations, they might pretend to have understood everything, when in reality, they only understood 60 or 70%. And so they're afraid of asking clarifying questions. Now, here's the thing. You don't want to overdo it, but it's important to ask questions if something wasn't clear. What matters is the way you do it and if it matches your identity. For example, a manager is going to ask for clarity differently than a colleague or a subordinate. A worker. So if you're a leader, but you're asking questions like a subordinate, like a worker, people are going to view you as less. They're not going to view you as a leader. And if you're not a leader, if you're a regular worker, if you're a junior worker, for example, and you start asking for clarity like a boss, that's also not good. This is called identity misalignment. The phrases you choose to use to ask for clarity are not aligned with your personality. Here's what I mean. A boss who doesn't understand something or needs more clarity would probably say, I'm not sure we're on the same page. Could you repeat that? In a direct way. But someone who's not a boss might say, I didn't quite understand that. Would you mind repeating that, please? Imagine if it was in reverse. Imagine the boss saying, I'm not sure I quite understood that. Could you please repeat that, please? That's not good. And remember, the phrases you use are building the reality around you. People will perceive you and judge you based on the phrases you use and the phrases you don't use. And this includes when you're asking for clarity. The way you ask for clarification should match your identity and your position. Not just at work, also in life. If you're recognizing yourself in these myths and you're like, oh, wow, that's happening to me, it's fine. Now that you know that these 3 myths are holding you back from expressing yourself correctly according to your identity, the question is, what are you going to do about it? If you're serious about finding your fluency identity, building real confidence, and you're tired of feeling invisible at work or hiding at meetings and not participating, if you're serious about this, I want to help you take the next step. Click the link down below to find your fluency identity. And if you're ready to work with me directly to transform your English confidence and get that other job, pass the job interview, get the position you know you deserve, but that English hasn't allowed you to get, schedule a demo call with me down below. We'll analyze your fluency blockers and show you exactly what you need to do to get there. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more fluency tips. That's all for now. See you next time.